Hello. Today I want to talk about the film The Harder They Fall, currently on Netflix. Just to start this off, my friend Lisa just last night was saying that one of the marks for her of a good movie is a movie that you're thinking about days after. There are movies that you have fun during, and that's fine, but then the movies that stick with you. This is a movie that stuck with me. It's been almost a month since I saw it. Again, I came late to the party, but I'm still thinking about it. So by Jeymes Samuel, writer and director, The Harder They Fall. I can't recommend it to everybody. It has Tarantino-esque violence, very stylized, overblown, the way that the violence is shot. So it's not a film for everybody. But the Tarantino echoes are kind of very important. I think he actually evokes Tarantino specifically in several points. I think he wants us to be thinking about Tarantino, but he does something that Tarantino rarely does. It's a much deeper film. A friend of mine, in telling me about it when they saw it, said, "Have you seen it? When you do see it, we've got to talk because we've got to talk about the ending." And I'm watching the movie, and I always kind of hate it when people say that. So sorry for doing that to you. But I realized it's absolutely true. This movie is unique in many ways. One of which is it isn't until the end that you really know what the movie's about. You think you know what it's about the whole time. It's a fairly standard kind of Western in this overblown style, done very, very well, shot very, very well, acted very, very well. But when you get to the end, you realize that the movie's a lot deeper and has been a lot deeper the whole time. The theme is revealed at the end. And it's not tacked on at the end, which is one of the things that makes this a really, really good movie, is it's not we get to the end and like, oh, I've got to say something. Let me throw something in. Once you realize what the movie's about, go back and you rewatch it, you will realize that every scene is about this. Every scene, it's building up to this. It's about this. So I talked about Tarantino. There are several things that evoked Tarantino. It opens with a scene where a preacher and his is killed. Sorry for the slight spoiler there. And a cross is carved into the forehead of a little boy. And then it jumps ahead in time, and you see this boy grown up, and he's out to get revenge on the man who killed his father and carved this cross into him. The first scene that we have after the killing of a preacher is a man who is killed inside of a church in this stylized way as part of the revenge that this man with a cross on his head is after. Now, again, shades of Tarantino, right? Carving into the head. We've got a little bit of Inglourious Bastards there. We've got a death in a church that kickstarts things. So we got a bit of Kill Bill in there. But here's the difference, is with Tarantino, there was a couple differences. One is the use of the church. So the use of the church for Tarantino, especially with Kill Bill, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this violence takes place in a place that should not be violent, at a wedding, which should not be violent. You might be thinking as you're watching The Harder They Fall that the cross carved into this guy's forehead and the killing in a church is all just for cool effect. Wouldn't it be cool if the guy who's out for revenge has a Christian symbol on his forehead? You will find out that none of this is random. It is all by design because he has something he wants to say specifically about that. We have a lot of revenge type stories. Kill Bill is a revenge story. Inglourious Bastards is a revenge story. But the revenge stories tend to be either fantasies, revenge fantasies, which is what Tarantino kind of specializes in. This feels like it's going to be a revenge fantasy. It's not. It's got a lot deeper things to say, a little bit closer to True Grit, maybe. But I can't actually think of a revenge story that does a better job of actually making you think through and deeply into what is the revenge than The Harder They Fall. So again, True Grit is probably the thing that comes closest to me. So it is a movie. It's definitely stylized R-rated violence. It's not going to be for everybody. It is very stylized. If you like that kind of stylized Tarantino style, this is definitely, Jeymes Samuel is definitely going to be up your alley. He does it. He evokes Tarantino, and then he supersedes Tarantino in a lot of ways. The other nice thing that he does, which is a little bit of a spoiler here, so I apologize for that, but is in the ending. He takes a route that is not expected for an action movie in that the very, very finale of the climax is much quieter than the rest of the story. Very Princess Bride like in the way that, and very, very so much more satisfying because he does that. So yeah, thematically, I don't want to say too much more other than when you see it, let's talk.